There are words that no one dares to say. But Misgrüter Athanasius Schneider said them. In a surprising interview, he reminds the Pope that every bishop chosen today will be an open account before God. And he warns, no Catholic is a spectator. Even if you live far away, even if you think it doesn't concern you, the consequences fall on you too. If you want to understand what's really at stake, stay with us until the end. In an interview with Joe McLean, Misgrüter Athanasius Schneider spoke words that sound like a prophetic warning to the Church of our time. Every episcopal appointment is an act fraught with eternal responsibility. The Pope will have to answer before God for every bishop he has appointed. It is not diplomacy, it is not ecclesial analysis, it is doctrine applied to reality. When the successor of Peter puts his signature on an episcopal appointment, he is not simply choosing an official to administer a diocese. He is choosing a father or a traitor, a guardian of the faith or a silent destroyer of the truth. In an age when efficiency and governance seem to have supplanted holiness and mission, Schneider puts God's judgment back at the center. Not that of public opinion, not that of court theologians, but that of the eternal judge. Every bishop appointed, remember, is responsible for thousands of souls, but whoever chose him is even more so. A single bishop can spiritually destroy an entire diocese, says Schneider, and he does it not through front-page scandals, but with something far more subtle: ambiguity. Doctrinal ambiguity is today the true poison that paralyzes faith, corrupts the sacraments, empties homilies, and extinguishes zeal. It is the silent cancer of a church that prefers to please the world rather than be a sign of contradiction. When you appoint as head of a diocese a man who has already given proof of undermining the clarity of the magisterium, of watering down the truth for the sake of a quiet life, of relativizing what is absolute, you are committing an act of the gravest responsibility. The flock is entrusted to those who do not know how to lead it, or worse, to those who intentionally lead it towards the precipice. There is no need for a list of names. Just observe what is happening in many once fervent dioceses that are now reduced to liturgically devastated and doctrinally aphonic social centers. Bishops who remain silent about sin, who praise lifestyles incompatible with the gospel, who transform catechesis into moralistic psychology, who prefer rainbow blessings to the Corpus Christi procession. All this does not come from nothing. It is the direct fruit of a sick selection, of appointment criteria that favor adherence to consensus rather than fidelity to the truth. Schneider says it clearly. Even if the bishop in question does not belong to your diocese, his spiritual impact falls on the entire church. We are one body, and when one part of it is infected by error, the whole organism suffers. Thinking that the damage is limited to one diocese is a modern illusion, functional only to relieve pastors of responsibility and anesthetize the faithful. The truth is that every bishop who is unfaithful to the deposit of faith contributes to extinguishing the Catholic light in the world, and whoever continues to appoint them without prudence or discernment throws the sheep into the jaws of the wolves. The poison of ambiguity also spreads thanks to the silence of those who should speak. Schneider does not deny it and does not sugarcoat it. It is not our job to criticize every act of the Pope, he states respectfully, but we must be concerned. and we must pray more and more. And immediately after, the sentence that weighs like a millstone: for every bishop appointed, God will ask the Pope to account. It is not a provocation, it is a truth that the theology of the saints has always supported. Every choice that affects the salvation of souls is a matter of eternal judgment. It is not enough to take refuge behind blind obedience. It is not enough to appeal to diplomatic prudence. To remain silent in the face of evil, out of fear or calculation, is spiritual complicity. Respect for the figure of the pontiff cannot become emotional subservience. The history of the Church teaches this. The saints have served the truth, even when the chair of Peter trembled. He cites two giant figures who, in times of great crisis, knew how to put holiness before haste, discernment before pressure. In the 19th century, or even in the first decades of the 20th, popes preferred to leave a diocese vacant for years, rather than hastily appoint a dubious candidate. He states this with admiration and firmness, almost indicating the obligatory path for every successor of Peter. He recalls in particular St. Gregory the Great, accused in his time of taking too long to appoint episcopal representatives. The Pope's response was dry, clear, unassailable. This is my sacred duty. I will continue to take all the time necessary before appointing a bishop, because these souls will also answer to me. It wasn't obstinacy, it was fear of God. That fear that today seems lost under piles of dossiers, statistics, and geopolitical pressures. But the most powerful episode, evoked by Schneider, concerns Saint Leo the Great. Attributed by tradition, it is said that Christ himself appeared to him with a stern face, reproaching him for not having supervised with sufficient rigor the nominations of bishops. And Leo, struck in his soul, withdrew for weeks in penance and prayer, as a gesture of reparation. This is the level of awareness that every pope should have, Schneider says, a scrupulous awareness, full of fear, because every episcopal appointment is a direct participation in the mission of Christ or in his betrayal. These examples are not romantic hagiographical, but criteria of discernment for today. The people of God need pastors, not managers. Of fathers, not diplomats. Of saints, not officials. And when these men are not found immediately, the true pope, like Gregory, like Leo, waits, prepares, and prays. Finally, Schneider makes a precise and respectful appeal to Pope Leo XIV. He asks that every episcopal appointment be the fruit of profound discernment, not of haste or curial pressure. He invites us to look for men who are truly faithful to the Catholic faith, authentic pastors, not bureaucrats or ambiguous figures. Remember that the Pope bears the spiritual responsibility of each bishop chosen, and that carelessness in these decisions can have devastating consequences for the Church. The reference to the holy popes of the past is not rhetorical. It is a concrete reminder of the need to be vigilant, pray, and choose with fear of God. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment, Amen. God bless you.